Good morning. Welcome to Winnipeg. I love your cup here, Chris. I like the photo that you stuck on the front here. Or is it on the back? I guess it doesn't matter. It depends which way I turn it. It's a great shot. The lighting just of the engine just sort of, I don't know. It almost gives it sort of. I don't know how to describe it. It's got sort of a mythical look to it, I guess you'd call it. Yeah, it's really nice. Great shot you took there. Enough about that. Now later on I remembered what it was that picture on Chris's mug reminds me of. And it's that movie that Tom Hanks did the voiceover on. Yeah, there were scenes in that movie that remind me a lot of Chris's mug. Good job, Chris. Last night, when I was laying in bed, I thought, I was going to paint my little part here so that the paint would be dry in the morning. I almost got up and did it. But no, next thing I knew it was 2 in the morning and it was time to go to the little model maker's room. Anyway, so I'm going to have to paint that before I can glue it down. But maybe if I use my heat gun, I can sort of rush things along a little bit. Anyway, what was I going to say here? I had something, it's hazy this morning. Our sunrise, I checked it out, it came up around, it was coming up around 10 to 6 this morning, if I remember. And it was, I think we got smoke going on again. So, guess we're back to that. I know some years seem to be really bad here in Canada for forest fires. And it's the forest is one of our main resources. We don't want them to burn off. Let's sort of get going here today. Don't have anything particularly to talk about that's important. In fact, nothing that I talk about is important. I got a couple of comments about the glitch in my camera. You know, when my screen went off and on again for half a second or whatever, and it set my timeline out of whack with my or my audio line out of line with the video line track. I don't know what that is. I'm thinking of maybe checking to see if there's a firmware update. Now, usually Nikon sends me a notice when there's a firmware update, and then usually I do it right away. I'm always scared to do it, because is it going to make it worse or is it going to make it better? And the only major change that one of their firmware updates did, I think it was the second or third update after I bought the camera, was I was able to shoot in 8K 60 instead of just 8K 30. So that was important to me. Otherwise, these other firmware updates, unless they don't really change anything that's important to me, but maybe they make the camera run better. I don't know. It's amazing technology, amazing world we live in right now. Yesterday I was messing around a little bit with my smartphone here, and when I bought this thing here, a few months ago now, the reason I got the one that I got is because it has a video capability of shooting in 4K 60 frames a second. So I was sort of messing around with that a little bit yesterday, and I thought, I should see if I could do an entire episode only using my smartphone. It's hard to do a video with a smartphone, though, especially after you're used to using a DSLR. You can't slip on the macro lens, and there's a lot of things that I like to do, and I like to be able to see what's going on here in the monitor, and have I got everything all lined up just right? Like, can you see my sprue pens real good? That's good. I got them in the right place. I'm sure a lot of you viewers that see my morning opening monologue, you notice that everything is sort of laid out, kind of. I don't know what they call it in the movie business, setting the scene or setting the stage or props, or I don't know what they call it. Anyway, I have a lot of fun doing this. Now let's continue to have fun here and paint this. Now, I have a bad habit of not thinking ahead. Oh, notice I almost grabbed it here? I mean, that's what our holder honor is for, isn't it? Okay. I have a bad habit of not thinking ahead. Now, I'm thinking ahead right now after I get everything on this thing, and we're completely done, what is it, step 35 or whatever. I'm probably going to want to go around with the 19 and my little brush and paint the edge of these little decks to get rid of the glint from the CA glue that I've got all over the place. And when I do that, I'm going to completely be covering, most likely, the bottom rail of the railing. It will become 19 instead of the darker 77. So if that is the case, when I am holding onto this piece here, I have to think to myself, all right, what part of this now is going to be visible? And when I grab onto the bottom of it, I have to grab onto it somewhere. I can't just lay it down on the tabletop here and paint it. So what I'm going to want to do, I want to be very careful not to bend it, is grab it in a place that I'm going to be covering up anyway, because clearly when I brush it now, I also have to be careful that I don't grab it in a place where I'm going to bend the radius out, because it's just about dead on right now. So if I hold it like that, maybe a little bit closer yet to the bottom. I should really have the macro lens on, shouldn't I? Yeah, I enjoy doing things with the macro lens, so let's just get it going here. Okay, you might say that I'm just sort of thinking out loud or talking to myself, which I'm doing more and more lately. And I'm taking you along with me. Now this is the way the railing has to go. It has to go this way up. Unfortunately, as you can see, it shows the photo etch. If it had been the other way, we wouldn't have had that problem. However, this is going to be if it has to go the other way up, that means that this is going to be the bottom rail. So we're going to want to grab hold of it somewhere here where we're not going to damage anything. And then that bottom rail, I can later on, I can paint that with the 19, and it won't matter. Because obviously when I repaint, let's see if I can hold it so you can see it. If I repaint with the 77 to cover the glint, you know what? I got to stop thinking out loud. Okay, so I get myself what I think is a good brush here. I don't know what happened here, but my brush is shot. I might as well chuck this thing. I'll keep the handle. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Okay, let's get a different brush. Okay, this one isn't much better. In fact, I think it's worse. Is it the paint? It's causing the hairs on these things to splay out? Okay, back to my favorite brush. See how this one works. Okay, this one's somewhat better. It's got one little hair sticking out. Yeah, I don't know what was going on with those other ones. Look at my paint is kind of lumpy, isn't it? No wonder I'm having trouble with my airbrush. Okay, time to go to the hobby store and get a bunch of new paint. Anyway, let's see if I can get that whatever it is off. Now this 77 that I'm using right now is thinned out for the airbrush, and it's actually quite thinned out. So I'm hoping it's going to be able to cover the glint. You know, I should really be flooding it on. That's what I should do. Gotta turn this at an angle where I can see it. I'm sorry if it's sort of bad for you. Where the tweezer's grabbing onto it, well, we can fix that later. Did I get the bottom rail on the inside? I did now. Okay. I don't think we're going to need to give this a second coat. We might have to touch it up because undoubtedly I'm going to scratch some of the paint off. Okay, we got her. Let's let that dry. Okay. Wish I had $1 for every time I started my sentence with okay. Now, this section is basically done now. Our railing, I just glued it on. As you can see from the clock, a couple hours has gone by. And I'm just waiting now for the CA glue to cure. I hope it's curing. And but before we can move on to this section, which is near as I can tell, we only have to put this little part on right here. And it's already made. We got to drop down a couple of searchlights. And then if we flip the page back to step 34, I think that's where we were supposed to put on 4 of these rangefinder fire director things. You know, but they're all ready to go. It's just a case of sort of gluing them in place. So why don't we just do 1 of each on camera, and then the rest I'll quickly get done, and then we can move over here. Okay. I tilt this like this, you can see that there's mounting holes where these I keep going to call them rangefinders, fire director controls go, and clearly they're probably not going to fit because I've been doing a lot of painting. On the other hand, maybe they will. Now, there's probably a right way and a wrong way that these things are supposed to face. So here we go again. It might be hard to see, but there is a little bit of detail. Let me see if I can hold this somewhere. You can see there's a little bit of detail sticking out the back. Now, is that supposed to be facing towards the back or the front? I think that's actually supposed to be facing towards the back. So that would mean, try and get this just right here. Now don't drop it this time. And don't break off the railing either. Okay, you know, I think if we were to put a little bit of extra thin in that hole, which you can hardly see, maybe I'll recompose. I'm getting my head in the light, aren't I? Okay, I'm going to recompose. I'm going to put the macro lens on, and we're going to look right here. Okay, here we go. Can I get in there? I'll put a little bit on here too. Don't drop it. Looks like a little tiny bit of flashing on the top of that thing. Or did I break some paint off? Well, it's probably some sort of control, isn't it? All right, let's do one more here. Yeah, my angle must be wrong. I can only see with the stuff with one eye at a time. Oh, I don't know where I got it, but I think I smeared glue on the side of this thing. Okay, let's try it this way. No, it's not in the hole, is it? See if I wiggle it around. There it is. It's in the hole now. Should I maybe have this one a little bit more looking straight out? What if I put my finger on the top and just sort of twist it around? Well, that didn't work. I should have left well enough alone. I'm going to have to rehydrate the hole now. I don't know why it is, but it seems to me like the peg is not going in the hole. That'll be okay. All right, let's do one searchlight. But before we do, I just wanted to mention that maybe I should have touched up the back there where that photo etch, or rather with that CA is glinting. It's kind of too late now. We're just doing a dry run here. Now, which is the front and which is the back of this searchlight? I think that this is the back, actually. And I think this is the front. Right here. But, shouldn't the lens part of it be a different, almost look clear? You know what I mean? The searchlights that came with the Bismarck kit were much more detailed than this. I'm not complaining. I'm going to go check Stefan's book and take a look and see. There is subtle differences to this thing. I may as well get it right, right? Well, I'm afraid this is not too helpful. Here you can see this is the lens, yeah. But you look at this one here from this side, it looks a lot like a little part. I was hoping to find distinguishing fittings on the thing so it would, be obvious which is front and back. There seems to be more of a flange here. So would that be the front? There, in our little plastic part, there is more of a flange on one side than on the other side. I think it's going to be a case of whichever side I paint silver. That's going to be the lens. Okay, we tried. Okay, here's my thoughts on this now. This is the back. And this side here that has what appears to be more of a little flange, you might say. Now, I think that the reason it's got a bit of a flange going on there, if I can get this to turn over. Okay. The reason that there's a bit of a flange here, because this is the piece that got glued onto this piece. But if I try to paint the front of this, silver, or somebody suggested blue, it seems to me on was it the Hood or the Rodney, that we painted half of them silver and half of them blue, and then we put up a vote which we liked the best, and I can't remember what the results were. But I'm thinking that I'm just going to make a mess of it. It's going to be too difficult, I'm no Gabe. Gabe could probably paint this and keep the paint only on the front and not have it go around the edge. But that's him. He's good at that sort of thing, and I'm not. So I think what I'm going to do here is, first of all, I'm going to stop poking at it, and secondly is I'm not going to try and paint it at all. I'm just going to stick them on, because like I started to say, if I start to paint it, it's going to be really obvious. Whereas right now it's no big deal. Now, I don't know how many of you noticed, but the railing that was right here is no longer there. Just a moment ago I accidentally broke it off when I was trying to get myself lined up here. So I'm going to have to glue that on. I'll just quickly do it off camera. Okay, I'll put the other one on the other side the same way. Okay, we are almost done step 35. We gotta just put that little radar thing on the top here, but that's gonna have to wait until the next episode. There's something important I've got to do this afternoon, and yeah, so all being well, we'll see you on pizza day. Yeah, all right. Thanks for watching, everybody. And all being well, we will see you tomorrow.